What up, how ya guys doing? This is eTechWiz here, coming in with another patch notes video. So yesterday around 4 p.m. August 28th, Dark and Darker has wiped. This is their first early access wipe, and the reason for this is mostly because of people exploiting their game, and they had to basically wipe it earlier than expected. But they did get some great feedback from in-game players, and I hope you guys are excited, but they are actually adding in VOIP now. VOIP has returned, so I hope you guys are going to be screaming to your heart's content in those dungeons, having a good time, and I will see you guys there. Enjoy the patch notes video. Alrighty, so here are the patch notes. All spells, attribute bonus ratio returned back to 100%. We're going to get into their notes on that in just a moment. The all attributes random modifiers can now go up to +3. All potions now heal for 15 HP. The required duration for the potion decreases as the grade improves. So, touching back on that all attributes random modifier, that's dope. That's awesome. Another just adjustment in the potential modifiers that everyone can acquire. So this is going to be an interesting change all around. All potions healing for only 15 HP now is also another interesting thing that they are adding. Improve the ratio of recovery health from 0.5 to 0.65 for taking damage. Okay, so this, to my understanding, they are improving the amount of recoverable HP that stays gray healthed, before you actually, fully die or get, all your max HP gone. So instead of you getting 50% back on that damage taken as a potential healing source, you're gonna be taking 65% back of that ratio as recoverable potential health. So that's an interesting change. Definitely ties into the potions now healing for 15. We're gonna be seeing just consumables be a very important and just kind of like something that is not gonna be used quite often back to back to just keep yourself up in combat. All bandages now take a base time of 5.5 seconds to apply, but heals varying amounts of recoverable health based on the grade. So that's interesting. So they decided to improve the bandages usage based on that recoverable health. So it's kind of like a little tweak. That's interesting. Regular interaction speed bonus is applied at only 50% bonus when using a surgical kit or bandage. Okay, so regular interaction speed is applying a bonus to those surgical kit and bandage uses by only 50%. That's interesting. Okay. Francesca. Axe price reduced from 24 to 18, and hunting trap price increased from 7 to 10. Okay. Another just usable item. Buff and nerf there. Alright, so now we're going to be looking at some spell changes. Bard's Accelerando. We have the ratios change from 5, 8, 11 to 5, 7, and 9. Alright, so Bard's Allegro is changing from 3%, 5%, and 7% to 3%, 4.5%, and 6%. So that's a little nerf. We're also seeing a little bit of a nerf on the Bard's Streak of Weakness. So we got 3 spells all around nerf on Bard, which is interesting. He is pretty strong in a group setting in terms of buffing and applying those weaknesses. Wizard Zap is now doing damage for 1.25 seconds, I believe that's the change. And we have quarterstaff movement penalty buffed, so that's pretty nice. About 5 movement speed buff on that quarterstaff, and his Zweehander is also getting a 5 movement speed buff. Awesome. Two-handed weapons are very strong. High roll entrance fee will be kept at 50 gold for now. Very amazing change. That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. That's awesome to see. The gold horde has been removed from the ruins map. Never really encountered that too often, but and that sounds good for players that probably didn't even know about it. I am definitely looking forward and expecting some awesome things to come out of High Roller now that it's not going to be, you know, as heavy on the goal to farm for it. So it's going to make for some better late game fighting and High Roller content. I'm looking forward to it. And let's see, we're going to be looking at the dev notes right now. We have decided to revert the spell attribute ratio back to 100% after realizing that a universal nerf to all spells in this manner was too broad a change and made it difficult to easily gauge the effectiveness of bonus magic stats on items. We have reverted the change and will attempt to use a more surgical approach to spell balancing in the future. As you can see, this update we have started with a slight debuff to the wizard's zap spell to try testing this approach. We will continue making changes to more spells in our coming weeks in a similar manner. So yeah, so this is just touching back on that attribute ratio scaling I mentioned before. Also talking about the wizard changes that they added to their most recent patch before this one, which, you know, nerf wizards in the late game, but they're still testing out some new stuff. So we are going to be checking that out. We have also decided to try a new approach to the healing items, which is what we were talking about. It's going to make it more palatable for solo and new players, while also reducing the time to need to bring in the excessive amount of consumables. Yeah. And bandages will still only be recovering the recoverable health. So these are some awesome changes. They also changed the bard some, and that's what we went through. So that's seeming like what they're explaining here, just the big stuff. Finally, we have started to some balance change to the bard. Yep. And we understand that we may have gone overboard with the nerf hammer, and we're also looking to try and make some of the more underused items a little bit more viable. We have started with some of the most unpopular weapons, and will continue on this path for the foreseeable future. And that's basically to touch on that movement speed buff, and yeah, I guess just the movement speed buff, and yeah, the items in terms of Francesca axe and the hunting trap. So hope you guys enjoyed that video. I'll be back again next time when they put out the next patch notes. Enjoy Dark and Darker. Have a great time. Enjoy those dungeons, and hope you guys make it out. See you next time.
To the other side of the river.
Nah, man, that was the low point. I had to get out of that room. You know how those rooms work. It's like room to room.
I thought there is like a tunnel in it.
Nah.
I thought I saw a tunnel through it.
That would be pog if there was.
But
you're fired.